Hi, David with wheelitforwardusa.org. Today we're talking about bathroom safety, more specifically commodes, things to do with toilet safety. A commode has two purposes. One is bedside use, and it gets set up in someone's area where they're sleeping so that they don't have to take a long distance trip to the bathroom. Very convenient, very simple. The legs on the commode adjust to a certain height that you can set it and forget it. They come with usually a pail, a splash guard, and a lid. Recommendation for people that are using it bedside would be to take a tablespoon of Pine Sol and a quarter cup of water, start that in the bucket with the lid. I'll show you a demonstration of the bucket and lid. So lid goes on top of the bucket. Bucket has a bottom. Splash guard's a bucket with no bottom. The splash guard's designed to go when we're putting the commode over a toilet. We'll talk about that in a little bit. There are a couple different types of commodes that can be used bedside or in a bathroom. They are called drop arm commodes. A drop arm commode is this one here. This allows for people, usually in a bedroom setting, that needs a transfer bench or a transfer board to be able to slide from a wheelchair onto the commode and then slide back. It can also be used in a bathroom where space is narrow, but you want to stand, pivot, and sit the customer on the toilet, but sometimes not enough room to really make that adjustment safely. So we can always drop the arm, making it easier for them to stand, pivot, and 3/4 turn to sit down. The legs are adjustable on commodes based on a little push button design, so you can set them and forget them. They also come with feet that have treads that are on them, so you do want to double check to make sure that the feet are proper and safe. This commode can be set up for the over the toilet option. To do that, we take the lid and the bucket, we put that aside. We use the splash guard. Splash guard makes sure things fall all the way into the porcelain. This particular unit can go on the toilet. Sometimes the tank prevents it from getting back far enough. So these particular devices come with the option of removing the back piece. Very important. Bedside commode, you have to have this bar in place. When this is set up over a toilet and you need to get the space back far enough to have the water reserve tank not be blocking access, you can take that bar off. This then goes up and over, and then the feet can be adjusted to the right height to make sure that somebody gets in and out of the commode safely and easily. A lot of times this can be a better option than using something that's called an elevated toilet seat with arms. We'll talk about those in a little bit. So there are some cases that the weight requirements of these units do not meet the needs of the patient. So that's, again, that just reminds us that getting the height and weight of an individual, a borrower, very important to be able to keep in the notes. The bariatric tends to be wider, so they don't always fit in most bathrooms. Having measurements from the individuals that might show where the sink is and where the toilet is and where the tub is and shows the space available can sometimes save a borrower several trips trying to get the right piece of equipment. The commode, and the reason why some people put them over a toilet, it can be because of the arms. The arms are a safety feature that allows somebody to help safely transition to a standing position, and therefore the arms are a good way to be able to push up. However, once again, always work with your PT and OT. It's one of the more common exercises that they work with people, is the proper way to be able to stand, pivot, and sit when they're transferring, or to stand and reach for a walker. Those transition times during that process are very important. You just want to make sure that you're doing them safely. Your PT and OT know what your limitations are and can work with you in the safest way to remain independent in your home. Next, we have the toilet seat risers. There's two different types of toilet seat risers. The most common, if you're in a household that has multiple users and they would prefer not to have a permanent modification of their toilet seat, is this particular elevated toilet seat with arms. This elevated toilet seat with arms comes with a lip on the back, it comes with a pressure plate on the front, and it comes with an adjustable knob in the middle. This allows you to place the unit angled into the back of the porcelain with both the lid and the seat raised, and then it snaps down where this goes inside the front lip of the porcelain, and by turning this screw, it will adjust the plate so it creates pressure from the back side and the front side, making this a sturdy, safe environment for someone to get on and off of the seat itself. The next option is an elevated toilet seat with arms, but in this particular case, this one goes on top of the porcelain. You actually need to have somebody that knows how a toilet seat goes on and off to have this installed properly. You would start by taking the plastic or the toilet seat itself with the two bolts at the back. You would remove those bolts, you would remove the seat and lid, and you would place this on top of the porcelain itself. Then you place the original toilet seat on top of that. They make this in two types. This one is an elongated seat. It is more of an oval shape. They also make one that's more rounded, like a basketball, whereas this one's more egg-shaped. That's the oval. Once it's on top of the porcelain, these removable bolts go through your toilet seat, through this toilet seat, through the porcelain, and then is tightened up so that the three individual pieces act as one on top of the porcelain. This actually is preferred by some because it allows you to sit on your existing seat, but gives you a nice 3.5-inch rise to make it easier to get on and off of the john. One thing of note, always needed, as we've been talking about, height and weight. You do need to verify the height and weight of people that are utilizing these pieces of equipment because they do come with weight limitations. There are certain times that certain things have to be adhered to, and maybe some of the other equipment like the commodes we were talking about would be a better option. But again, working with the medical professionals, you can determine what's going to be best for this person in this situation. There's one other option that sometimes the height of a toilet is not the problem. They just need the ability to stand from the toilet. In that case, they have what's called toilet safety rails. Toilet safety rails allow you to remove the toilet seat using the two bolts that are on the hinge part of the toilet seat itself. You would remove those bolts, you would put them off to the side. This plate then sits on the back of the porcelain. You line up the holes on the porcelain with the toilet seat that you just removed, and then you put the toilet seat back onto here, and then you use the original bolts and nuts that came with the toilet seat, and you secure this down to the porcelain. This does come with an option that allows you to lift some of the parts to make washing the floor and other hygienic cleaning processes likely. There are two versions of this. This one happens to have feet that go down to the floor, but sometimes that can be a tripping risk for individuals. So they do make one that actually rests on the porcelain. It has a foot section that comes out to the side, and that sits on the porcelain, and therefore does not have a piece of the apparatus on the floor as a tripping risk. There's another option, which sometimes works best for individuals with utilizing something that can be easily removed is for other people to use the toilet. And this is a safety frame. There are some that are designed to slide into the toilet seat, and then there are some that are designed to go around the toilet seat. So these are standalone, and they can be utilized in the right situation with the right people. So again, checking with your medical professional, PT or OT person to determine which is best for you is certainly advised. The function of this particular device is similar to that of a walker. So that would allow you to get into a seated position, having this remaining in front of you, allowing you to use it as a support as you start to stand up. That would be the main reason why there's a lower end of the unit and the higher end allowing you to progress up in height as you stand up from using the John.